Mike.
Yes.
And I'm Kevin. There was supposed to be 3 other people here, but
It's supposed to be what you would call the whole crew.
the whole crew, the OGs. But
The gang.
after talking about it for 2 days straight, originally it was going to be a bracket episode. Then it wasn't going to be. It was just going to be hanging out. And then Wayne, who talked about it the most,
Seemed the most excited. Complained the least, I should say.
apparently left his microphone on Jack's desk at the Kings Coast warehouse. Now, that has been unconfirmed because Pete is now pulling up security footage.
It's allegedly. Allegedly it was left there.
He's literally pulling live security footage from the warehouse, asking Wayne to please show us.
Legitimately looking at screenshots with arrows being drawn, like paths that were taken throughout the workday.
It's a whole thing right
walking
now.
where.
It's very exciting. Very exciting. But yeah, it was supposed to be all of us. We were a little excited. Don't you love, Mike, that how we are like, oh, we're, yeah, you know, in the AM episodes, we get all excited because we're going to drink coffee and talk. In the PM, we're supposed to be drinking alcohol. And here I am with my bottle of water. And I see you also have
Bottle of water.
old men.
Yeah, what does this say? I have been hankering for a solid hard seltzer.
Hard seltzer?
Yeah. Yeah.
You like hard seltzer?
I've been just really wanted a nice refreshing.
Like what
Seltzer.
flavor? Like a nooner? Are we talking about?
Like, yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
I
like a
can-
nooner.
I could get down with a nooner. But you're not talking about like not like a White Claw, right?
No, I have been known to drink a Truly here or there though.
I have Truly in my outdoor fridge as an emergency situation. Like if it's usually Tim, to be honest, if I'm being completely honest, comes over and he drinks the Truly. But I got him hooked on Nooners now.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's just like it's that crisp, refreshing. It's refreshing. I guess it's like not fair because I mainly drink like IPAs and obviously completely different drink, but it's incredibly refreshing.
I don't think I've had a beer. I had a beer while watching the sea shanty movie that Wayne told me to watch on Netflix, Fisherman's Friends. Because they were drinking beer the whole movie, and my wife was like, I could really go for a Tampa style lager. I was like, I'll go get one. And I had an IPA, the High Life, the Tampa one. But other than that, it's liquor. Limoncello has been my drink of choice lately.
I've been heavy into tequila.
Like straight or on the rocks?
No, on the rocks. On the rocks.
With no mixer, just
Nope. Just tequila with ice.
That's Ben's drink of choice.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
You get a good tequila, man. It just you don't even realize. You
What-
have no, like I
what
have
brand?
no idea.
What brand?
Drinking 100 años, I think it was.
Okay. 100 on uses. That's what Pete usually makes the vitamin C drinks with.
Pretty good.
Have you tried the rocks yet?
No, but I hear good things.
Terramana? Yeah, I have a bottle of it in my house right now. It's pretty good.
I was say, is it as good as advertised, or is it just like
It's
The Rock is
it's
one
not
of
gonna
the
blow your socks
sexiest
off.
men alive?
Yeah, it's not gonna blow your socks off like $100 bottle of tequila, but it's a nice middle of the road tequila to keep in your house. Very smooth.
Okay, that's kind of how I feel about like the 100 años. It's not like obviously not top shelf, but it's very smooth for what it is, and it goes down easy.
Yeah, you can compare Terramana to that. I would
All right.
give it a whirl next time you're at the liquor store.
I 100% will.
I've even been fooling, and let's see how much of a crossover we have between the shows. I've been fooling the Star Wars and Scotch people for weeks into thinking I've been drinking, and I've just been pouring ginger ale into a rocks glass and sipping on it for probably about 5 to 6 weeks now. And nobody has caught on or called me out. So we'll see how much crossover there is between the two shows.
They couldn't tell with the bubbles?
No. Once
So
we
let me
get
ask you
into
this.
it, they don't care.
You have a show called Star Wars and Scotch.
Yep.
Where you drink scotch on the show.
Mhm.
Does that mean your scotch is a business write-off?
Technically, we're looking for a sponsor, like a whiskey or scotch sponsor, for cheap. Because just give us the alcohol, and you can come in real cheap and get all the eyeballs that we get. Because the advantage to the live rare drop shows is that we do them on Facebook and Trovo and D Live and I don't know, wherever else we push it
Everything.
out to. Yeah, because our Twitch contract states gaming only has to stay on Twitch.
Okay.
So you get eyeballs from everywhere, and then you get the downloads afterwards. So, yeah, if you want in on that action, come join the hottest Star Wars show on Twitch.
I mean, I like the action. The action does sound hot. I don't know how helpful I'd be in the world of Star Wars. I'd probably just like, huh?
Did you watch Mandalorian yet?
No,
Michael.
but I could talk about Mandalorian.
No, I do that every Monday. I did it
Weapons
for
are my religion.
8 weeks. I want to hear what you think of the Mandalorian.
I'll tell you, when these games start churning out, man.
Okay.
I'll be excited to come on and talk about them.
We could talk about the Ubisoft one too. Tim and I had a good conversation. I'd love to get your take. I
haven't seen anything about it. Which one?
The Star Wars one that they announced that's gonna
the
from
Ubisoft one.
Lucasfilm Games.
Yes.
And I also got you the book for free, right? The Light of the Jedi.
I think you sent it to me.
I sent you a link. I don't know if it actually gave you the book or if it was like Audible bullshitting me. But the book's been pretty good. I have about 4 hours left. It's kind of dark in comparison to other stuff.
Wait. Where did you send this to me on?
I texted you on your... Go to your phone text messages. That's where it'll be. It was a link. It was like, come get this Audible or something. It said I could give you, if you were a first-time user, for free. I don't know. You could click it and see if it worked. But... I
don't have anything from you.
Wow.
I know.
I definitely sent it to you. Oh, maybe I'd sent it to you over Facebook? I don't know. I'll go find it and send it to you again.
We'll figure it out.
It's a good book, though. It's a good book.
Figure it out.
No LinkedIn. I don't want premium. LinkedIn is the devil. I know you probably don't use LinkedIn, right?
I don't.
So ever since I put CEO in my title, and I asked Pete today if he has the same issue, I just get messages from other people claiming to be CEOs. And they're like, hello, I'm sorry to cold intro you, but I'm looking to expand my network. Can we connect?
No.
And it's like, no, I don't know you. You're not just going to tap in everybody I know because you're a CEO too. You know how easy it is to be a CEO? It costs like $200. Anybody can be a CEO.
Allie used to be on there. Well, I'm sure she still is, actually. But she used to use it regularly. And now, you have like professional headshot of yourself as your picture and, because it's the function of the social network that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And she would just randomly get message from dudes on there.
Oh, my God. It's a freaking business site.
Oh, no, man. Like, yeah, she would randomly get message and I mean, under the guise of employment, but it clearly wasn't about employment. And then it even went so far as to like one of her. So when we were still dating, one of her boyfriend before we started dating, just became this incredibly obsessed individual to the point where even though we were living out of the state, he was, I don't know how, actually, no, I do know. He went through a network of friends to get my address in Texas, got my address where Allie was staying with me, and would send her gifts to my place, dressed to her and everything.
That's creepy.
He went so far, like even on like LinkedIn to try to reconnect with her. And when that didn't work, he tried to reconnect with her dad on LinkedIn. Weird, right?
This is from some really old guy who is a CEO of some other company. Hello, Kevin. Just hoping to connect with other CEOs here in the Tampa area. didn't say anything. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for I connected, so I hit the button. Thanks for connecting. Would love to connect for a chat sometime at your convenience. Would you be open to that? Keep in mind, I connect with people from Tampa pretty regularly because any local business for us could be advantageous because, you know, it's Tampa and
There's
I
a
want
lot there
more
and it's
local
local.
stuff.
Right.
So I say, sure, I'm back in the office starting on Monday. No answer from the guy. Oh, this guy, he said, hey, Kevin, I was checking out your profile. We should definitely stay connected. And then he started sending me sales stuff, and I disconnected from him real quick. It's just like so annoying. I have 10 other of those sitting in my inbox.
Do you or don't you have a Grindr profile?
I don't think I have a Grindr profile that I'm aware
You
of.
just put it in your LinkedIn. Just start sending them weird, creepy messages.
Oh, I should do that.
Alluding to Grindr.
This guy I connected with because he was in, you know, he's in video and stuff. And hey, thanks for connecting. Hope you're staying healthy. Next message. Happy to connect. 6 paragraphs about all that his business can do for me. Next one. Oh, and he ended it. This is the most infuriating part. He ends it with, when are you available for a quick demo? When did LinkedIn become a sales platform? That's my issue.
Well, I guess it's a short step to get from what it's supposed to be to what they're doing.
I get it, but it's about connecting and networking, not sales. So I now have, because of these people, I stopped connecting with people. I also don't like people who are like, hey, I'm a Twitch streamer in their profile.
They're not using LinkedIn. They're not using LinkedIn, are they?
Oh, no, they're 100%. And then they're like, you know, like, I'm a Twitch streamer.
Oh, my God.
And you go click on their Twitch stream and, you know.
Hi, I'm on a podcast. I guess I should get a LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, they've
It'll say
streamed
on there.
3 hours in the past 6 months. And, you know,
Is this just
streamer.
trying to establish themselves as an influencer
I guess.
so that they can then network for
I'm always amazed with people
creating content in outdated sources?
I'm amazed with people in that situation because of one major thing. And that major thing is that they don't put in the time that's necessary to have sponsors and relationships like that.
Right.
Just because you stream for 2 to 3 hours a night, 4 days a week, does not mean that you deserve a sponsorship. They're looking for people that do it all day, all the time to get as many eyeballs on their product. So, and the other thing that bothers me is when people act like they have a sponsorship, but all they have is a promo code. That is not a sponsorship. You have become a salesperson for that company.
You are a conduit.
Yes, you are a non-paid, commission-only salesperson for that company. That's what you now are. I don't know. That has bothered me more. When I was a part-time streamer, I managed to negotiate my own sponsorship, and I can say this now. I'm done streaming. I was getting paid $500 a month by a company that's now out of business. What was that? You remember the health food company that sponsored me? The gaming focused one?
I could not tell you what the name of it is, but I remember I remember the company.
They wanted me to do a promo code, and I told them no. I said, but you can have some ad space on my stream for $500 a month. And they did for 6 months. And then they went out of business a little bit thereafter. So I guess I was too much money for them. Not my problem.
Nope.
One broadcaster who does it right, in my opinion, you know, Captain Robert, who DMs all our
I know
Dungeons and
Captain
Dragons.
Robert.
So Robert does it right because Robert monetize. Now that I know him better and I see the insight to his monetization, he's a freaking genius. He monetizes the D&D games, Mike. So there's modifiers that you can pay to get to put into the game.
Oh.
So they're almost like these cards that you can play at any time, and the DM has to work them into the game, but you paid real money to alter the game.
So who's doing this? Companies or viewers?
There is a company that has the system in place, and then Robert has customized the cards, so they won't. He's not going to get thrown for a loop on a card that he has no idea is coming or could be in the deck.
Right.
But the user can purchase. I believe they're distributed at random, so it's almost like a collector's item that you can then play at any time during his campaign, and he has to work it into the story. Or let's say a character rolls like a 2, you can, the card will come down and from the user and it'll say like roll again, so you get like an extra attack.
That's pretty ingenious.
He's implementing it into the rare drop stuff. So it should be cool to see it in action. But he does that, and then he's always got reruns playing because he basically runs everything off a server. So he's never not technically his channel is never not live because he always has reruns of his other games playing. And then he has his nights that he does his campaigns, and he does his campaigns for us. So he's almost like a full-on D&D broadcast station with full customization and audience participation. You want to do it right? Go check out that person's channel. I used to be against reruns and things like that. I was never crazy about them. Let me rephrase. When Worst Radio Show first started, all I did was run reruns, because we had so little content and I just wanted people to figure out who we were. Then as things went along, I felt like it wasn't the right thing anymore. Now with the climate of Twitch and where everything is, you run those reruns as much as you want because nobody's handing out any favors anymore. And Twitch went from being the Wild West to Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Either you survive or you die. There was no civilized age of Twitch or content creation, in my opinion. We went straight from we went straight from the unknown and the untamed to the apocalypse, in my opinion, of content creation.
Oh yeah, dude, it's like
I mean, you've been there the whole time too. You've watched it unfold.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. The way it's handled on both ends is ridiculous. I mean, it's just as ridiculous, like you said earlier, seeing the demands of so many people that just think that they're owed these things or
oh yeah, I can't get over that. I can't understand. Forget about Twitch. I can't understand why you think anybody owes you anything.
Apparently a lot of shit should just be oh, what's that? You broadcast yourself on here with, yeah, here, we'll just give you all this shit for free because you say you should have it. What? No. That shit drives me up a fucking wall.
Yeah. I hate being like old man curmudgeon about this, and I feel like I am often, but it's partially due to the fact that I'm just completely disenchanted with the baseline of the industry at this point. And I think anyone that's coming in has to be innovative and has to have an angle or has to have, something to offer.
Somebody will think of something cool and new. Yeah,
you can't just flick on 80s tunes and do, Destiny patrols and hang out with people anymore. It's not about that. Everyone's trying to climb to the top.
Somebody will create like a new personality that's just like really solid. But even that, so many I mean, for a while there, you had what was that, Trooper Eli or whatever his name was?
Oh, yeah, Sheriff Eli.
Sheriff Eli. So you have personalities like that, or characters like Dr. Disrespect, or you have the character streamers like that.
I don't know if Sheriff Eli is a character streamer or just being himself as a character.
It could be, but when you're role playing in GTA as a cop in that game, it almost becomes a character at that point, at least in my opinion. But so you have that kind of angle of it, and that worked out really well. But the gimmick plays itself out eventually, or maybe not for that individual, but that space gets filled very quickly. You can't have 6 sheriffs running around doing the same thing. You know,
Right,
he fills that space. That's his thing.
Everyone tries to be the next one.
Right. You're not going to have like 6 people running around, like, although everyone seems to kind of emulate what Dr. Disrespect does and says and his like persona. But
I've also noticed that the attention span on a game on Twitch is so much shorter than it was when we started. Like Destiny was king for us there was the drought before Taken King, but even then it was okay to just pop it on and complain about it to 2,000 people. No one cared. Now a game seems to rise and fall very quickly. We just saw, what game just came back? Rust. Everyone's into Rust
what
again.
the hell's up with that? Everyone's talking about Rust.
So
everyone's playing it again.
I think that's kind of what we're going to see going forward is these nostalgic rises. You know, I know YouTube's going through something with a Minecraft server right now with a bunch of YouTube creators I think people just get they beat the shit out of new stuff that nostalgia almost is comforting. So I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 or 3 years there's like this Destiny 1 resurgence where it's like delete all your characters and let's start from scratch, you know?
Oh, I'm sure that'll happen.
People have tried to spearhead it, but it hasn't hit. I'm waiting for it to hit the big time.
If you do that, you almost need a fire team to go through with everything.
Right, but
the
idea is that there's so many people doing it at once that it is this huge community activity where there's tons of people and whatnot.
And I'm sure it'll because they could do like the thing like Borderlands does something very similar every year. They go through and you get from, you level all the way through, and it like Borderlands is mega popular around that time. Not that it has a pretty wide player base anyways, but I could absolutely see that happening.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the next few years is in content creation. What's interesting, what's cool, what's fascinating.
Is it because the quality of stuff coming out is not what it used to be, or is it because people are no-lifing this shit the second it comes out, and so content is dead within 5 days?
People are no-lifing. I think the general consumer, to an extent, is losing touch with Twitch because of the no-lifing. So
that's a good point.
You're commiserating. For instance, I have 2 friends who I've known for years that, we're in a group text, and, they always joke. They're like, oh, you're the big Twitch star, blah, 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 blah. They're still playing Destiny 2, Mike. You know why? Because they only play 6 to 7 hours a week.
So there's still plenty to do.
They're never running out of things to do. And my assumption is that's probably 90 to 80% of Destiny's full player base.
Right.
Just like World of Warcraft, there's probably people that haven't even gotten to max level yet.
Oh, there's certainly, absolutely. 100%.
I can say as a working parent now, I haven't finished Valhalla. I haven't finished Cyberpunk. I was just given a code for the Hitman. When the hell am I going to get to that? I just finished Watch Dogs, Mike. Just finished it 2 days ago.
It seems like a fairly large game to me.
It was like 34 hours.
Okay. I expected. All right.
I did side quests, but there's a whole online element to it that hasn't come out yet. But I don't even care about that. So now I'm gonna probably go balls to the wall in Valhalla. But yeah, I haven't finished that, so I can understand that thought process. But I don't think those people can associate as much as they used to with Twitch broadcasters who are, putting in 120 hours in 2 weeks into a game and then saying there's nothing left to do.
Right. I mean,
well, no shit.
Yeah, that's not fair to say on a lot of different angles.
But I don't think they create echo chambers, and then the people that follow them that even may have a ton to do are going to echo whatever they say.
Of course. Of course. I mean, such as social media, and it's frustrating to say the least. Just, I try very hard not to fall into that. Just that echo chamber. I try very hard to fall into any singular echo chamber. If I have an opinion of something, it is what it is. But to just surround myself with people who constantly say the same shit over and over and over and over and feel the same way about every new thing that comes out. Oh, holy shit, that's depressing.
I believe you're describing politics, Mike.
Yeah, yes, it's true. But no, that is fair to say, or it's not fair for these individuals who have made a career out of this. I mean, and I think that's a big point that a lot of even players are making is you shouldn't be making content around these people that are sub 1%. Content should not be made based around these people who have an abnormal amount of time to put in to play these games. Like, if someone can sit down for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, because that's what a lot of these people are preaching. Consistency every day, grind every day, consistent grind every day. And when I say grind, I don't mean the game, I mean streaming. And so when you're looking for the newest shit and that's all you're doing for 36 hours, like,
there should always be, especially in game as a service, pinnacle activities and achievements that are very difficult and take tons of time to get. But those should not impact the general flow of what you're doing as an average everyday consumer.
Yeah, I have like zero issue with something taking a long time to get. That's fine. But games shouldn't be designed
for people that play 12 hours a day, 7 days.
Exactly.
I agree.
And then I don't think it's fair for that sub 1% to turn around and criticize a game that, you know what I mean? If a game is a story and you've played the story and you enjoyed the story and then that's it and it was whatever 20 hours long, cool, it is what it is, move on to the next. I would hope they're not widely getting criticized for only being 20 some hours long as a story driven content. But I feel like a lot of times they are, and like people complain that there's just not enough to do. There's not enough to do. There's not enough to do.
Every game also can't be Red Dead Redemption where you had like an 80-hour story and then you have this vast open world of online to explore.
Right.
Those are few and far between. I think value is also based on your experience. If I remember correctly, God of War was only roughly 40-something hours of a playthrough. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit more. But man, was that a ride.
Solid experience for you.
Yeah, and the gameplay was amazing. It was just... I'm less about length of time played and more about quality.
Mm-hmm. I think so. If I could see, so if I'm trying to equate it to something I do, if I get in and I'm playing an MMO and I've reached my max level, right, and now you're doing your dailies and your weeklies, which is how MMOs are set up. You do your dailies and your weeklies until the next patch cycle when the story's continued. It's usually in all a 2-year cycle, at least for the major ones. ESO is every year. So it's a constant revolving door, but I could see like somebody maybe complaining, I knocked out all my dailies today in the first hour of playing and all of my weeklies are done already, which you and I both know that it doesn't happen in an hour. It's, generally it involves dungeons and that's like a minimum 30 minutes per dungeon, depending on who you're running it with. But you could get a majority of that stuff done in probably one extended play session. Yeah. And I could see people who know life that shit complaining like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? What the fuck am I supposed to do?
At least in WoW, it's super friendly to doing it over again.
Yeah. Well, I think most MMOs are set up to that, but it's the repetition is that something that you enjoy because that is the game. But we've grown to expect that from the games we play. That repetition is what we do. That's what we enjoy. We enjoy the repetition, which is why we play that game. You know what I mean? But I can understand where maybe a complaint would come in for something like that.
Yeah.
Like, somebody who no lifes it, because there are quite a few people who no life WoW. Like, what am I supposed to do? And a lot of those people do go to PvP, and they seem to enjoy PvP. They seem to be good at it, and they seem to get a lot of viewers for it.
Yeah, because PvP, Tim and I talked about this on Star Wars and Scotch. PvP always can provide a fresh experience no matter what.
It does. PvP, not only does it provide a fresh experience for you, the player, most of the game, most game to game, I should say. But not only that, if you are broadcasting yourself, which is why I kind of really enjoyed broadcasting PvP type games, is because every match, you kind of got a different version of yourself coming across the screen. So, like, if I was raging at something during that game, you're raging hard. If I'm doing well and I'm winning the next game, my reaction to that's going to be completely different. Usually that's when you start, fucking around with people, and the shit talking and everything begins. And that's fun, and that's funny, and that's a different perspective. So it kind of keeps it fresh game to game.
Did you see this Microsoft thing? Where
what is this?
Microsoft filed patent to create chatbots that imitate dead people.
Yeah. Why? Why do you need my great grandparents' information as a bot?
Here's my issue. Is there is literally an episode of Black Mirror about this, and Black Mirror is a commentary on the dangers of technology in the not so distant future. This feels like a big one. That is a huge no-no.
Explain to me the necessity. Why is it? Why do we need this?
Okay,
why?
From an emotional standpoint, I understand the idea of wanting to have the illusion that you are communicating with someone you lost. It's why people go to a psychic. It's why people use Ouija boards. It taps into that side of the human connection.
What about just acceptance?
Well, this can be exploited. That's where my issue comes in.
Of course it could be exploited. Well, that's exactly where my head's going. This
Not
is
that those
100% going to be exploited.
Not that those other ones can't. I'm not saying that at all. But this, given our knowledge of technology, has the potential to be very, very, very exploited.
On so many levels, this can be exploited.
So I'm going to read what the article says. The Independent reports that the tech giant has raised the possibility of creating an AI-based chatbot that would be built upon the profile of a person, which includes their images, voice data, social media posts, and electronic messages, among other types of personal information. It's understood that the chatbot would then be able to simulate human conversation through voice commands and/or text chats. Wait, not done. However, Microsoft has taken the concept a step further by suggesting that a 2D or 3D model of a specific person could potentially be created using images and depth information or video data of an individual in order to build a chatbot that has the same characteristics and behavior based on the digital output of a specific person.
Why? For the love of fuck, why?
This is like Pandora's box.
Why? You know what's going to happen? Microsoft owns it. Just like Facebook, just like Instagram, just like all these other fucking social networks, dude. Microsoft will own that. You send them your dead relative's shit so that you can get closure. They now own your dead relative's ID.
You're not wrong.
They are your dead relative now, and they can use it however the fuck they want.
When I had to get my ancestry stuff, they own my DNA now.
No, yeah, like no.
They can.
Why?
They can screw with it and, I don't know, clone me in 20 years. Who knows?
Why? But why does Microsoft need to do this? I don't. What are you doing? What are you doing with it? Because this is not out of the goodness. This is not like.
No, it's a potential market. You know how much they could charge for this?
A lot, but like, who the fuck needs this?
There's people that will pay for that. Apparently,
go to therapy.
I don't know the validity of this, but somebody was in my mentions saying that the technology is already available because they, put in quotes, revived a dead child for parents in VR in Korea.
Go to therapy.
I don't disagree with you, but
Why are we discrediting that? Like, how is that healthy? That can't be healthy living in that world.
Now, is this one of those things, though, that when we're dust is completely normal?
What do you mean? When we're dust, if this is what they're doing now, they're just going to download you into some fucking bot, into an actual robot. They're going to download you, and then you're just going to keep on going.
Right. So will Grayson's kids be chatting with dead Grandpa Mike's robot?
Nah, I have a feeling the world will be over by that time.
I read another article. I posted it the other day. Who was it? Washington Times? It was a good morning read. Wall Street Journal. And it was why we can't stop longing for the good old days. And they basically trace back 5,000 years of human history, essentially to come to the conclusion that every generation, for the most part, has said that the generation before them was the good old days.
Yeah, because every generation believes they're currently living in the suck.
Right. So for us, for me and you, we look at the 80s, and man, the 80s was amazing.
Yes.
But they listed all the reasons in this article that the 80s were not amazing. And before that, it was, man, the 50s. What a time to be alive. And, they're like some of the most worst racial and social violence took place in the 50s.
Right.
The threat of nuclear war, all of this stuff. Yeah, and before the 50s, it was the 20s. Well, the 20s was also the Great Depression and Prohibition. And so you can keep tracing it back and saying, oh, man. And, I think a lot of it does have to do with they reference that pop culture glorifies eras. For instance, Happy Days came out in the 80s. And Happy Days was about a bunch of teenagers and the Fonz in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have Stranger Things, Wonder Woman 84.
Right.
We're glorifying the 80s now. So when in actuality, everyone thinks the world is constantly going to end and everything is at its worst, it is a psychological piece of our makeup that basically tells us that it's actually in reality either, and this is where we go from information to philosophy. A, it's always been this bad, but we've just had different eras of dealing with it and recognizing it. B, things are actually better, but our DNA is so conditioned at this point to look back on memories and think fondly. They did an experiment where a bunch of kids remembered middle school, and they would talk to them periodically, like right after they finished middle school, a year later. And after a few years of talking to them about their memories, all of the bad memories were gone. All they remembered was the good times. They didn't remember the things that they told them about that were terrible. So your brain almost filters out automatically.
I mean, I wonder if that's like a chemical signature of something good happening to you versus something bad happening to you, whereas maybe something good leaves a much stronger chemical imprint in you versus something bad. Does it trigger something different?
Because when you think about the best times of your life, your wedding day is on there, the birth of your child is on there.
Right.
There are all these key moments that are completely significant in the human life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at that, you remember those moments fondly. But do you remember the third time you threw up when you were drunk? You remember the first. No. You remember the last. But you never remember the third, because the third sucks. You're just throwing up when you're drunk, and no one likes to do that.
Right, but I think that's far more significant. Like, that's a far more significant impact on you. Like, yeah, that's totally different levels. I can remember some of the most fucking traumatizing shit that's ever happened.
Well, they said trauma is not really there. It's more, okay, let's level it on this. It's less of these significant points in your life and more of, I remember in junior high school, I remember the people I used to sit at a table with and eat with and laugh with and have jokes with. but I couldn't tell you, who I really didn't like in high school. I can't remember any of that. I could tell you all my favorite teachers in high school. I had my creative writing teacher, my biology teacher. I don't remember the teachers I didn't like.
See, that's weird because I can specifically remember a teacher I had a very bad falling out with.
Very bad, traumatic. But the midline, the middle of the road, the ones that you're like, yeah, whatever, this person's annoying. I just need to get through this class.
Yeah.
I don't really remember them.
But I mean, who's to say that you really...
Because I remember the one English teacher that I called him a pussy and I got in huge trouble for it. That I remember. But I don't remember. I don't remember my English teacher the next. I remember his face, but I don't remember his name. My English teacher the next year.
Like I remember things I've done in classes that I didn't like, but I couldn't tell you what the teacher's name was.
Yeah,
I remember doing things in that class.
So it's almost like your brain makes room for the good stuff, and
like I can remember.
It's like a zip file, Mike. You remember the teacher's face, but you don't remember the name because it's not really relevant to your memory of it.
Yeah, I can recall vividly a lot of really negative things that have happened.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I mean, aside from the few, like you said, like your wedding day, the birth of a child, things of that nature. Obviously, you remember it, but those are huge milestones in your life.
I don't think that and negative trauma will count here. I think it's more of, I remember the
just
fond
your baseline
memories.
Shit.
Yeah.
Just like your status quo everyday type stuff. Like, this is like kind of an up and this is kind of a down. They kind of equate out.
You remember the smell of the hose water when you would drink it in the middle of summer.
Yes, I do.
Right.
And the taste.
Right. It tasted metallic and gross, but my God, it was so cold that it was the most refreshing thing.
Just, yep.
So something like that versus, that time you fell and twisted your ankle. You don't remember that.
Yeah, I guess it's like a grass is always greener on the other side type deal.
Yeah.
We think something else is better because we didn't live in it.
Right.
So
we didn't live in the 50s, but everything I've seen on television, Mad Men's the 60s, I think. But all of that is, that looks cool. That looked fun. Look at that badass. Everybody's smoking cigarettes and they all died of cancer at 62.
It's true.
So it's
now, you know what? With this dude, Microsoft could just fuck right off down the road. Get out of here with this shit.
I mean, there's going to be a market for it, whether we like it or not.
Of course, there's a market for getting your fucking dick beat while you're doing whatever in a back room with somebody. There's a market for that too. There's a market for getting my nipples clamped and shit. Like a niche market doesn't mean we need to mass produce. Where are these people just willingly giving the information over?
I don't think it's niche. I think there's a large contingency of people that would pay a lot of money to bring back a loved one. I'm with you. Like, let the dead rest.
Yeah.
Because, I'm a pretty practical guy, but I definitely believe in things that we don't understand.
Look,
and for me, death is just something you don't. Yeah. Altered carbon freaks me out.
Yeah. We've lost people suddenly. With just one night, you talk to them a couple days ago, and you wake up the next morning and you get that phone call, and they're not here anymore.
Yeah, I've had that
multiple times. That's happened. Best friends.
Yeah.
Best friend. While I was going through like streaming regularly, I lost one of my absolute best friends. Spent almost every day with him. Lost him. Didn't say I told you guys, but I didn't say shit to everybody else.
Yeah, I remember.
I would not provide the information that I know about that person to fucking Microsoft so that I could talk to him again.
Yeah. Well, here's my 2 cents. I brought this up on the jam years ago and whatnot when Ben was talking about like, oh, they'll just download my consciousness into, and I'll get it. My philosophy, this is going to spark some shit on Twitter, and I can't wait. My philosophy, don't you feel like we should be drinking around a campfire having this conversation? Because that's how
actually,
I feel.
yes.
This is not a podcast, but we're going to keep going. My philosophy is, who comes out on the other end of the download? Is it you, or is it a copy of you that's just digital?
No, it's a copy of you that eventually will be programmed with its own AI, and then it picks up either where I left off, or it makes an alternate decision from what I made in my life to get to where I am, and it goes fucking rogue.
Right, and that's what Altered Carbon is to me, is it's not the person, it is a copy of the person. So if you believe in the idea of a soul, regardless of religion, but just on a spiritual level, the idea of a soul, well, what is a soul if you're bringing all of this into it? And now we're having a much deeper conversation that we do not need. We don't have time to dive into that.
It's a dark soul.
Oh, God damn it, Mike.
Listen, we can both agree, though. Fuck Microsoft, right?
Which part of Microsoft? The
I would
R&D?
not trust Microsoft with the identity of a loved one. No fucking way. No way.
I wouldn't either. But
no way. That fine print is they own that person. And you know that motherfucker has a backdoor lab somewhere where he's working on reanimation. You know it. You know it.
Yeah. I mean, I think they've been working on reanimation since Walt Disney died in the 60s.
And he's going to start plug and play this shit.
But Microsoft just sent me a Series X, so I don't want to say that Xbox is responsible for trying
Microsoft Games Division. I'm not. I don't think it's the guys at Xbox doing this. I don't think it's the ground level people. I think it's high level
like Jeff and
executives.
Stein and all the guys that I know.
Yeah, high level executives involved in much darker shit. Why do you need these identities for real? Get out of here. Get out of here.
Next time I have a call with Jeff Rubenstein, I'm going to bring this up and be like, hey, bud, you know anything about this?
Yeah. Your fucking dark web of human personalities.
No, I know what you're saying.
Just downloading DNA strains.
It's I don't know. It always ends up back to the soul conversation for me, because then what is a soul if you can just copy and paste someone's consciousness? That would mean in 60 years that, if Altered Carbon rings true, or some form of it, that, okay, you can quote unquote live forever, but it's not you.
No.
Unless it's your brain.
I don't know. I can't believe.
Even then, is it you?
But like you said, it's not me. So you can't guarantee that it would make the exact same decisions that I made.
Right.
Or I would make.
Right. So it's more of a just let it run its course and call it a day when it's time to call it a day situation.
I say we call it a day before the season even goes to fruition, whatever the fuck it is.
No, I meant humanity, like us.
It needs
our
to be
lives,
stopped.
Our lives as a whole. When it's time to go to
I do not think this is good.
And drink
I think
mead.
this is not good. Listen.
I'm with you.
If
So
you're
is most of Twitter.
If you're struggling, there's people to talk to. There's programs to get involved with. Seek that out. If you need to talk to somebody, that they're available. Someone's available. Like, God, this just ain't it. How when I'm talking to that fake relative, they're just their responses are going to be.
Yeah, you've seen this episode of Black Mirror, right?
No, now I don't want to, because now it's the 2021.
Now you have to watch it. Now you have to watch it. Have you not watched all of Black Mirror?
No.
Oh God, that show. If you're tilted now, forget when you finish that, because there's only, in my opinion, that show out of, I think it's 4 episodes per season, 4 seasons, so that's 16 episodes. Only 3 have a happy ending.
Like, now I kind of want to watch it. But
skip the first episode.
skip. Okay. It's just
too much to take in.
Just to preface this, you can't even post a picture that you take onto Instagram or Facebook without them taking ownership of that photo.
Yep.
Okay? They own it. It's theirs. Why would people willingly provide this level of information thinking that it's still going to remain their information?
I don't disagree with you.
Like, there is some nefarious shit behind this.
I was willing to trade off in the ancestry situation. I was like, you know what? Whatever. They can have my DNA. The government probably has it already. Anyway, I would like to know where I'm from. So it felt like a fair trade-off. I did learn some new stuff about me. As we found out, I have African in me. I am Jewish. I'm Scandinavian. There was a hotbed of things I didn't know. So I don't know. I felt like that was worth it in the trade-off. I don't feel like this is worth the trade-off.
I don't.
Because your dead relative could be, part of some crazy AI experiment.
That's
in 25
what
years,
I'm thinking. That's where my head goes.
Where you don't want them, God forbid, things were to get worse, and I don't know. I don't know. But it could be abused. Let's just leave it at that. I feel like that's the good endpoint. It could be abused way beyond you just getting to talk to a digital copy that isn't even complete. Let's be honest. It's taking algorithm data and trying to make a person out of it. And as hard as AI tries, I don't think they'll ever be able to.
Dude, every movie
humans.
where you see somebody like reminiscing over a lost one, they're watching like some digital format, a movie, something like that. It's usually they're struggling immensely with the loss. They cannot get over it. It's a traumatic experience. They're crying. A lot of times it's like drug abuse is involved. Like, I don't think this is something good.
Oh, it's not. It's not at all. And the end game is probably not going to be used for what they're saying it is.
Well, that's old. I mean, I don't even think that's up for debate. There's no way, like, end game that this is where that. There's no way it stops at that. Oh, yeah, you pay us $500 a month, and you can talk to a relative that you lost as much as you want.
Well, if I didn't even think of it being a subscription service, and now I'm like, you're right, it's going to be a subscription.
It 100% will be a subscription service.
Oof. So if you don't have the
this
cash,
isn't going to be
you
like
won't even be
a
able
one
to
and
keep
done
it.
program. There's no. You want to talk like on a weekly basis? They're going to have to keep reprogramming conversations.
I mean, I reference it to. I think it's way deeper than that for someone that would be willing to pay for this. I reference it to my aunt who passed away from cancer. How many years ago now? 7 or 8. And my cousin, her daughter. You know, every Mother's Day, every birthday is like what I would give to speak to my mother again.
And I agree. I can sympathize with that. I get that. I don't think like surrendering that much. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Ultimately.
What's your favorite Bernie meme, Mike?
My favorite one so far. Oh, the brand new one was pretty good, but I don't know if we're allowed to say that.
I think you can say it. It's okay.
I don't know. We might get raked over the coals.
It's a meme. You can say that the brand new one was funny because it was funny.
There was... I got to go back through. There was another one that was just so fucking good.
I cannot not laugh every time I read the one that I sent you guys yesterday morning where the person tweeted, Bernie dressed like the inauguration is on his to-do list today, but
That is
ain't his whole day.
hilarious.
No one beats that one. Sorry. That person who tweeted that is a genius. And
Oh, the Forrest Gump. I love the Forrest Gump one. Just sitting on the bench with Forrest.
I love the one of the gentleman affectionately named Via Getty carrying Bernie out of the Capitol building instead of the speaker's lectern. That was you, person that created that meme. You understand that taking two very recent events of socially relevant memes.
Man,
that was good.
The internet took one night and just ran with it, and it was phenomenal.
Did you see the one I posted on the old fashioned, the Skyrim one?
I saw the thread of them going on the old-fashioned Twitter, and it's awesome.
The original one was the Skyrim one. It's just Bernie sitting in the wagon at the beginning of the game. They're so good. Pete is still sending them to us right now.
Oh, man.
But yeah, that one was my favorite. It ain't his whole day. And then people in the thread were like, gonna go to the inauguration, gotta hit up the post office, Bed Bath and Beyond, maybe Home Depot if there's some time. Does he even know? He's gotta know, because his people meme all the time.
He's out there living his best life, man.
Oh, he doesn't give a shit, that guy.
No,
he doesn't give a
don't.
Shit. I don't blame him. I don't give a shit either.
Yeah, fuck it. Limited days on the earth left.
Do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
We already in our chat, we talk about how close we are to death.
Yeah, any day.
I said a few weeks ago, I was like, well, me and Pete are almost halfway there.
Yep. It's like, fuck. The half of my expected existence is already done.
Oh God, Mike. I read our chats back sometime, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's better not to go down that hole.
If this leaked out, people think we were psychopaths.
Dark
humor. You think you know dark humor until you gaze into our world. No one and nothing is safe. Just leave it at that.
To say the least.
Oh, man. Well, that's episode 14. Oh, I want to read you this one before we go. It's a little political, but we can have fun. It was from Babylon B. It said, nation's Democrats make fortunes selling used Not My President merch to Republicans. On that note, this is episode 14. Thanks for listening.
Yes.
Make sure you go to cakescoastcoffee.com. Make sure you go to patreon.com/raredrop. We're going to try and get, once I get Mike's schedule, I think we're going to try and do WTF Rare Drop Patreon podcasts and include Mike this week. So we're going to see if we can make that work.
Hell yes.
But that'll be for patrons only. So patreon.com/raredrop and raredrop.co. Cool stuff is coming. We're going to have some old fashioned merch probably in the next 2 months. It'll be up on the new Rare Drop store. It'll all be related to drinking and drinks because old fashioned. So be excited. We will see you for episode 15, hopefully with 3 other people, but we'll see where Wayne leaves his microphone next week.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great, I was going to say great night, but who knows when you're listening to this. So live well and may the force be with you.